Well, hello everyone, and thank you for joining MetaverseXpress Full Stop, where we hit the brakes to discuss hot topics in the metaverse. It is an exciting day today. It's Friday, but more importantly, because I have two very special friends on the show. Look at this right here. We got Iceyyy, the founder and creator of Web3 Gamer and the Gamers Choice Awards. He is back. What's up, Iceyyy? And look who is here for the first time ever, gracing me with his presence. My good friend Stache is finally on my show today. Guys, welcome.
Thank you so much for having us, Mona. I'm super excited.
Of course,
I'm underwhelmed. We need some heat.
I am in Florida where you're bringing the heat, and you're actually going to come to Florida. We're going to talk about that in a second. Yeah. Everybody's coming to the heat, man. Bring it.
I'm ready.
I was saying I want Stache to come with the fit, with the glasses. It's a perfect Miami look, I must say.
You know, I think so, but there are people out there that when I am rolling around on a top secret mission here in what we call the old standard issue, it's the old standard issue here from the agency, the GIA, they think something bad's going to happen. They think I'm going to flash somebody like I got nothing underneath this jack, and not saying I do or I don't, but it can be a problem sometimes, I will say.
That's
why usually you see me out. I'm wearing a disguise usually when I'm out. But
well, that's the question. The question is, what disguise is Stache gonna be in? You're gonna have to. It's gonna be like a, where's Waldo? We got to find me kind of thing.
Absolutely. And my viewers actually don't know. They don't know about the fit. This is your first time on my show, so I do want you to kind of introduce. I want to give you the opportunity to introduce yourself to my viewers. You were one of the very first people, Stache, that took me under his wings in a way when I first got into the space. You are a wealth of knowledge. You did. Did. When people didn't believe in anything I was doing, you believed in me. Thank you. But give us a little background about yourself, what you do in this space. You've been doing it for a long time. Tell the folks who you are. This is why we love him. This is exactly why. I wish I had a soundtrack.
Oh man. So I've been doing crypto stuff for a long time. Undercover secret agent style for the last few years, but really got into things in 2013. Yeah. Started the old blog and the brand Crypto Stache the end of 2016 going to 2017, and really started focusing on NFTs right at the beginning. So really when they started, really came onto the scene with crypto kitties, kind of saying, hey, here's what you can do with an NFT, a non-fungible token. I was hooked. I loved it. And, me being a lifelong gamer, I saw immediately that there was going to be a massive use case for this in gaming. And so I latched onto that and started promoting the very first games that were incorporating NFTs. I was actually the first YouTuber to create his own individual NFT. A lot of people don't even know that. Little Stache fact for you.
When was that?
That was in 2018.
Wow.
Yeah. Before that, really, it was really just like there was lots of NFTs being created, but for projects. There weren't any artists that were doing NFTs before then. There weren't any real individuals making their NFTs. And I partnered with Engine at the time, who were kind of like leaders in the NFT and gaming space, to do the first one. And we airdropped it to like 5,000 people. So it was a lot of fun.
Wow. We've come a long way since then. But you do a few different...
so long.
So long, ups and downs. But you do a few different formats on your channel. You have the, oh my gosh, what's your long format called? I just went blank for a second.
You're never going to be a guest on that show ever again. Now that you forgot, that's it. You're excommunicated.
Around the metaverse. I'm back. I'm back.
Okay. All right. We'll let you.
I knew you would get it. I knew you were going to get it.
I almost said metaverse on the block. So bad. Don't tell the boys.
It's all good. You're forgiven this one time.
But you also play the games. Tell the viewers the formats that you cover.
So yeah, I mean, we have a couple of shows around the metaverse. Is kind of like a creator roundtable that we do. We bring a bunch of gamers and NFT enthusiasts on the channel every Monday, 4 p.m. Pacific. We talk, we discuss, we talk shit sometimes, maybe a little bit too much, but we have fun. Tuesdays NFT Beat, where we cover all of NFT land. That's me and J Chains, Crypto J Chains. We do that every Tuesday, and then on Thursdays, Top Secret Thursday, and we're doing the Secret Agent Stache show where we play the latest Web3 games out there with the community, and we run our fun NFT game that goes along with this show, and it's a live stream, live action NFT game. So you actually have an NFT, you play it while I'm live, and you get me to do things like change disguises or do crazy actions like play blindfold for 20 seconds or use my left hand instead, like crazy stuff, or lose on purpose. So we do, and then and then we got a bunch of other streams that we do. We stream all the popular games and things that are going on. So all the latest, greatest, biggest stuff happening in Web3 gaming.
Amazing.
Yeah, I gotta give
Amazing.
Stache flowers there. I think you're the hardest working man in Web3 gaming. Almost every day putting out content. Really respect the grind. You are the OG of the space. And I've talked to a lot of creators that said that they found Web3 gaming through your channel and content. So
Absolutely.
love everything you do. And
I
it's an
appreciate
honor
the love and
to
recognition. I deserve every ounce of it. So thank you so much.
He is a content machine, and that's why he is up for nomination at the Gamers Choice Awards.
I'm the only one nominated. Did you guys not see the graphic? They put it out. Like, I swear, there's a pirate guy. There's a there's me. Everyone loves the pirate one. Like, just vote pirate. It's great, but just write me in. It's okay.
Yeah, this is so good. But yeah, I mean,
okay,
yes,
it's not true. No, there are some other great creators that are also there to vote for. But if you don't vote for me, I'm going to find you. I am a secret agent. I have access to a lot of great intel.
And honestly, there's so much you put on the table, and I hope I'm going to actually put your information in the note section so people can go and see your content and see how much work you do. So thank you for informing us and informing the community. Iceyyy, you were on the show a couple of weeks ago, but for those of you who missed it, I had Iceyyy on the show to talk about the Web3 Gamers Choice Awards. Now, this is a first ever in-person Web3 gaming award show that you have created and hosted. It's happening right here in my hometown of Florida on Tuesday. That's 4 days from now in Miami. I'm going to be there. Stache is going to be there. And so I kind of wanted to get the three of us together for a pre-show conversation. But I think, Iceyyy, maybe you should give us a little bit of a background and tell us how the event started. How did you come up with this? And then we're going to go through the nominees, through the categories, and kind of have you and Stache tell us what we need to know, who's going to be presented and why, and what are the judges looking for. So take it away. Give us a little background. How did this all start?
Yeah, thank you so much, Mona. It's a great question. Man, where did it all start? We just wanted to celebrate the year that of 2022, all the incredible game developments and progress that was happening. We were seeing all these announcements and releases and private betas and open alphas and all sorts of things like that. And it was like, man, 2022 was a tough year globally, macro, crypto, for everybody. But in Web3 gaming, there was so much incredible stuff that was happening, and we just saw an opportunity to bring everybody together and have a celebration. So that's really the idea behind it. It is the first in-person award show, so I think that's really cool. We've got a really cool trophy that you can kind of see in the background here, little sneak peek there.
Well, that's mine. Is that mine?
It could be. It could be. You are nominated.
You can't have it yet. You cannot have it.
I'm coming
yet.
for it. Get it. Shine that shit up.
Yeah, tune in.
Dude, that thing is sick. It's freaking shining.
Bring it forward. Let's see. I want to see what I'm going to be getting here in just a few days.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's the Oscars, man.
It's votation. It's loud.
That'll look good on my mantle.
We're very excited about
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. It's wings, right?
Yeah.
That's
yeah. So we really wanted to, award and highlight and celebrate and recognize. The show is about recognizing the incredible creators, the incredible games, developers, platforms, organizations, everyone that's building in Web3. We coined it the Gamers Choice Awards because we put together a panel of 45 gamers, researchers, creators, people that play these games, think about these games, and talk about these games every single day. We wanted to get a consensus among them of what we think of all the games that we played and came out in 2022, which ones were the best. And we also had a public vote, so anybody could vote, and that accounted for about 10% of the final weighting. So we really wanted to have like a very cumulative, comprehensive process to pull the community, but also, you know, some of the more knowledgeable people in the space to get what we think are going to be, you know, the best nominees and the best winners. So we just did the numbers the other day, but we officially tallied over 29,000 votes, or like, you know, nominations or data points.
Nice.
So it's a pretty we tried to be as open, transparent, and fair as possible, because to crown Game of the Year or Best Mobile Game or Content Creator is no small feat, and I take that very seriously. So I hope that I'm very proud of like our process and what we've put together. I mean, Stache is on the panel. There's a lot of other incredible people on the panel. So I'm really excited.
Incredible.
I'm really excited to debut all the hard work on Tuesday.
Incredible. And Stache, I want to ask you real quick too. I mean, you've been in the industry for quite a long time, and you've seen games come and go. First ever in-person Web3 Gamers Choice Awards. What are your thoughts on that?
All right, let me start off first by making a small prediction.
Ooh.
Small.
Ooh.
Coming in hot. I like it.
True.
Ooh.
The Game of the Year is going to Elden Ring. I'm calling it right now. I think it's a no contest win, right? I mean, isn't that
good choice?
Is that not one of the options?
Web3 game, Stache.
Web3 game.
Wow.
Here.
Wow.
All right,
wow.
Web3 games this year. Then next year, Web2 games too. I don't know.
Are you sure he's is he presenting? What does he do? What does he know what game
I'm gonna need some liner notes.
This is?
We're crypto native over here, you know.
Seriously.
Games that were on the blockchain, and I know Stache is a true diehard Web3 gamer. So
it's true. It's
yes.
true. Yeah, I barely play any Web2 games anymore. I'm not even like, between all the stuff that's been coming out here over the last year or two, you know, it keeps me pretty damn busy, you know, because a lot of content creators, most mainstream game creators play like maybe 1 or 2 games. That's pretty much like, they don't play, you know, the variety streamers don't get the love they deserve. I feel like that's one of those things that is something I actually really enjoy. But apparently, just based upon the numbers, you know, people like to just like, you just stream 1 game, damn it. But you can't really do that right now in Web3. You know, I actually put this as a question on Twitter the other day, and I said, look, guys, you know, this is how I feel the most of the industry, the game stream industry goes. They're streaming maybe 1, 2 games. What game could I truly do that with, where I could like make content and stream this literally almost every day of the week? There are no games right now that I could honestly say I could do that about, like, or very few. Someone said Blanco's, like, oh, that might be one of the closest one. Gods Unchained, probably, but you know, there's just not enough people wanting to watch.
I feel like with Illuvium releasing their open world or private beta, that there's a lot of depth in, and I feel like I could play that game for a while, because it's an open world. You can run around, jump around, do stuff like that, but then also, you know, capturing and leveling up alluvials. That one is one game that has caught my eye.
It's still, I mean, it's still a little limited on the content, but we don't need to go too far into that. But when it comes to this award show, I think that this is a perfect time, right? If we had tried to do this award show a year ago,
too early.
It wouldn't have. It wouldn't have worked. It was a little bit too early. You know, I think this is a great time to do it. We saw the Polka Starter Awards, you know, do very well. They were obviously just kind of like, you know, watch the video type of thing. I think that's, you know, it's okay. I'm not throwing shade their way, but I mean, if you're gonna do a damn award show, do it right.
Yeah.
At least they included me there, and they like so I'll give them some credit there. No, I mean, I think it was a great step in the right direction, but I think having one that is in person is something that can't really be replicated just by doing it through like, a Zoom or a video conference, and doing it
Yeah, yeah.
live, right? Doing it live is another thing too. So that's what I really commend you doing here. This Web3 Gamer Choice Awards here, Iceyyy.
Thank you.
It's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
I've done live events actually. If you guys don't know, I produced live music events for almost 20 years.
I
Large
didn't
scale
know
events.
that.
Yeah, large
Wow.
scale events, 5,000, 6,000 person events, and it
Wow.
is no small feat to do live events like this. So you guys got to give Iceyyy his props here. I will be doing so when I get into Miami, but yeah, he deserves it all, 100%.
Absolutely, absolutely. I see. We are grateful for what you've been working on so diligently and for really bringing the best in Web3 gaming together for this event and recognizing their hard work through, one of the toughest year we had. Now, there are 18 categories that are being presented and awarded. How many games altogether?
Oh man, I don't know
Do
the
you know?
specific games, but I know that we had 58
Fail.
total nominees. Well, because there's 5 nominees for creators, 5
Yeah.
Right.
nominees for organizations, and then the studio of the year. So minus the 15 there, we're probably around like 40 games. And,
Wow.
yeah, 40 individual games, something like
Uh,
that.
Stash, when you look at all these games and where they are in their development, you
Mhm.
said a year ago would have been too early. Is it too early now for some of these games? Do you think? Still?
No, I think we're in a good spot, like I said, to do an inaugural, gamer awards that are focused specifically just on Web3 games.
Right.
I do. I think there's enough content, there's enough games that are playable that people are having fun with. We haven't really seen any game like break out into the mainstream just yet, but I do think this year, I'm very confident that we'll see at least one game that will break into mainstream audiences, that will see mainstream people who don't really know much about NFTs or Web3 or they're not in crypto. We'll see them trying to play this game this year. So I think it's a good time to get started on this.
Yep.
If you didn't do it now, someone was going to do it. And so you get a good
Absolutely.
leg up and you establish yourself. And then, that is, it makes it a little bit more future proof, right?
Who is going to be the next Axie Infinity of 2023? Well, guys,
So hopefully nobody. Hopefully, like I'm just put it out there. Hopefully, literally nobody, because I think that we want them to not be Axie Infinity. We want them to go beyond the failures that we've seen there, and that's really what I'm hopeful for.
Well, we hope they've learned from Axie Infinity since then. But here we are. How about we just go through some of these categories and highlight what the viewers need to know, or what you guys want to talk about and highlight? Maybe what judges are looking for in some of these categories. You let me know where you want to stop and where you want to pass. But let's start with Game of the Year. We got Big Time, Alluvium, Blanco's Black Party, Undead Blocks, and EV.io. What say you, judges? What are we looking for here?
I'll let Stash go.
I knew he was gonna push me on it first. All right, I was waiting. I was like, I'm gonna see what it says. Because okay, you want my honest opinion here? I will give it to you.
Yes,
The
sir.
actual game of the year is not even on this list, and it actually makes me disappointed and sad. And that game is Superior. Now, when
Ooh,
you compare what Superior has done, compared to all these other games, all these games are great. I like all these games. I play all these games, and these are all some of the top games. But Superior should 100% be in this top 5. I was also disappointed to not see them win in the Polka Starter Awards, because when you look at the amount of content, the high level of development, the interaction and engagement in the game, the pace of how much they're putting out updates, it blows a lot of these games away, in my
right.
opinion. Now, like I said, I love all these, but I really would have loved to have seen Superior up here in this top 5 for Game of the Year.
So hot take, I agree with Stash on this. I agree full-heartedly. I was very surprised. So we'll be releasing publicly all of the raw data, all of the individual nominations that came in from the voting panel, and like also like the tallies and everything. and you're gonna see that Superior just got eked out. They're number 6. They were in the top 5
Rigged.
nominations for the
You rigged it,
majority. They were in the top
Yeah.
5 for the majority of the nominations, and then it was a really close race. And then Undead Blocks actually snuck in there at the last minute. So I agree with Stache. The way that I've come to kind of understand things, because I think that there's other games that should have been potentially nominated in other categories, and they weren't. And the way that I make sense of it is that some of these games weren't released for the entire year of 2022. Some of these games did not have the time or the marketing reach to reach maybe most of the people on the panel or most of the intended audiences. So I agree. I think Superior is a fantastic game. I think that it is a strong game of the year contender. And
I
you'll
got a
see the
question.
data.
I got a
Well,
question. I see. All right. If
Yeah.
you had to swap out one of these games for Superior, which
Superior.
one would it be?
Oh, so
Oh.
Just
I am
personally,
gonna
if you had to
cop
swap out one of these for Superior, which one would you take off and swap Superior for?
I have to cop out because I did not
Oh,
vote.
man.
I did not vote on
I
any.
know, that's why we're getting your opinion right now. We know
Yeah,
you
but
didn't vote.
as the organizer, I can't show any biasness to anything.
And you
I'll
can't
tell you
ask
after
me
the event.
either.
I'll tell you
After
after the
event.
event.
All right,
Um,
I'll tell you. The one that does not, as much as I love it, the one that does not belong here for Game of the Year is EV.io.
Interesting.
And like I said, it's a hard choice, but for sure, does Superior provided a gameplay that is superior, graphics that are amazing, continual development, and then also the mainstream approachability. I think Superior brings that. And I'm playing an EV.io tournament literally later today. I love the game, but Game of the Year, I would not call it. A lot of great things about
Stache,
it.
I want you to elaborate on that because you almost went there, and I want to ask you, when you look at the game of the year, a Web3 game of the year, what are you looking for? What are the judges looking for? Are we looking for in-game economies and graphics and lore and storytelling? And tell me what makes the a Web3 game of the year.
You got to have it all. It's got to be the full package. So it's got to be a game that is fun to play. It's got to have that stickiness, right? There's got to be something about it that I can see like, hey, this game will be around for the next few years because there's a stickiness to this game. There's something that drives people to continue to want to play this game. And not only, play the game just here in Web3, but play the game outside of our little small community of gaming here, right? Something that could be played by a mainstream audience and they would enjoy it, and they don't really have to worry too much about NFTs or any of those things. I do love EV.io because of that approachability, because it's very easy to just pick it up and start playing. But a couple other things, I think that we want to see a great development pace, right? Not taking forever to make updates or put new content out, because that is king when it comes to a multiplayer game. If you can't continue to put content out that's going to engage gamers, then they're gonna go somewhere else. They're gonna go somewhere else. And then you want to have obviously good graphics. You want to have a great team behind it that can continue to take this to the next level. But you also want to have marketing, and that's a thing that EV.io does not have. So when you look at all these, and I would even say Big Time doesn't do the best on their marketing either. But Illuvium does a great job. So does Blankos. They do a great job at marketing, and Undead Blocks has stepped it up quite a bit on their marketing as well. I would probably put Big Time fourth in that category, and EV.io is essentially almost non-existent. Now, when I say non-existent, like they do tournaments, they do things. They're well known in our community, but they don't really advertise much else outside. Like there's no big partnerships. They haven't pushed much forward. The game hasn't changed too much over the last course of the year. I mean, there's been some changes, but not like anything significant, right?
Yeah.
So, those are things that I look for when it comes down to a game that would be considered a game of the year, and a game that I want to play the most.
Great.
I agree.
Great answer. Sorry, go ahead.
I agree. Let me just respond real quick. I agree with Stache that EV.io could ramp up their marketing quite a bit. But if I was going to remove one game off this list, it would not be EV.io. And the reason why I like EV.io and think it's a great game of the year contender, some of the things that I would be looking for. One is game modes. They've got multiple game modes, right? You can jump in there, you can play battle royales, you can play death matches, you can play sniper only modes. We are playing in the Content Creator Cup later on today. Another thing is, I love how easy it is to play the game, how accessible it is.
Yeah.
That's one of the criterias. How accessible is your game? Can everybody play it? Some of these games are still in private alphas or betas or whatnot. You can play EV.io in 2 seconds going to their website. It's the smoothest web-based browser game I've seen to date. And the third reason I really like EV.io for Game of the Year, we didn't really evaluate tokenomics or any of the blockchain crypto aspects of it, but in terms of like a business model, I really liked EV.io's approach, where they wanted to create a very popular mass accessible game, and they're just going to monetize off of advertising, and they put their ads in very subtle places, and then they share that revenue with their holders. Now, I don't know exactly how well that model's working out for them, but it was an innovative. Well, I don't know if it was innovative, but it was a very interesting model. When I first found out about it, I was like, oh, interesting. I could see that working.
Yeah.
No, all good things. You're right. Yeah, like when it comes down to accessibility, they're second to none out of anybody in this list for sure.
Well, we certainly
Blanco's
have
probably number 2.
some great contenders here. We have 17 more categories. So I'm going to breeze through some of these. We have second is most anticipated game presented by Sequence. We have Creator of the Year presented by Planet Moho. Let's pause here for just a second. Stache, I want to ask you, we had for a long time, Web3 gamers weren't really fond of crypto, and they just didn't want to deal with tokenomics. They don't want to deal with volatility. When you look at these creators, is that what these creators promoted when it comes to Web3 gaming? What did they mostly focus on in, let's say, 2022, when we had a rough year? And what stands out about some of these creators that you're looking at here?
All right, yeah, great question. I think that when you look at this batch here, just to kind of get the rundown, Kaggy's probably been in this the second longest outside of me. So he's been, and like you were saying earlier, he kind of got into this stuff and like recognized my content like in the beginning. So he's been around quite some time. And then we've seen Bryson and Spike kind of, Bryson's kind of second most, and then Spike kind of coming in here a little bit later, and Jonah kind of being one of the newer entrants here to the scene. Bryson made his kind of fandom through Axie Infinity. Which was a pretty big wave, like everyone going there, they were all Axie Infinity focused, everything Axie. I was never a big fan of Axie for very good reasons from the beginning. I streamed it a couple times, talked about it here and there, but it was very obvious that there was going to be problems with their tokenomics. But everyone has kind of come into their own, I think, in 2022 in this bear market, having to kind of refocus off of something like that, and it forced them to broaden the scope, which I think is great. Everyone kind of brings a little bit of a different energy and a little bit of a different style of content to the scene. Kaggy has that edginess, which we love him for. Bryson is very forthcoming and honest with his opinion. Has some great insights. When you want to really talk about like threaded Twitter insight stuff, he does a great job with that, and putting a focus on games. And Spike, I think, does a really great job of being like the esports champion, really, really trying to focus on those things. And he's a hustler, man. Out of everybody, I probably respect Spike the most. And here's why. Everyone here does pretty good content, but Spike is also a father and husband, and having those extra responsibilities and duties on top of doing all this is damn hard. And so I gave him much love and respect for that, because to be a hustler like this and continue to do it and still have a family and do all these things is not easy. I do got to give some respect to Jonah. I know that there's been a little beef between him and Kaggy, which I thought that we should get some inflatable boxing gloves, and we should have them duke it out here in Miami. That would have been hilarious content. I may bring the boxing gloves just for shits and giggles and see if we can make them do it. But yeah, Jonah's got some flack here. You know, he definitely does run some good Twitter spaces, and you know, some people, you know, whether that's, you know, content or not. I mean, he's definitely here talking about Web3 games all the time, interviewing a lot of people, and so
Yeah.
people I know really appreciate that, and kind of he takes more of a, like a, you know, journalistic type of approach to things.
Yeah.
So I can you know, appreciate that. I know people do appreciate that as well. So
I think
like I said, everyone has their own little thing going on.
for sure. And I said that too when Iceyyy and I were reviewing these. Said everybody brings some different flavor to the table, but they're all hustlers. They all put out the content. And they're content machines, and they take it very seriously. They love what they do. So we'll see who takes home the award. I know who I'm voting for, but I
Well,
digress.
you had to have already voted. You could tell us right now. But
I'm so happy I'm not voting on any of this
Oh
stuff.
my God, this is tough, man. This is
You're
tough.
a smart man for abstaining. You're a smart man for having to abstain, I guess.
I do want to pause on best game lore here because I'm a storyteller, and storytelling is everything in a game. Any thoughts on storytelling and lore here?
Yeah, I'm curious to hear CryptoStash's thoughts on this. Like, what do you think about the games, the lore? If you had to pick, what would be your pick?
Yeah, I mean, all 5 of these have some good lore behind them. I'll put them in the order based upon here of who I think is top Saban. So My Pet Hooligan hands down has the best lore. They do an amazing job of putting out content that supports that and supports like what's going on in the community and the overall, you know, story behind what's going on. I mean, it is second to none about like compared to any of these other you know, projects. They really have their narrative down, and they're telling a story that is easier to follow. You know, it allows you to, you know, connect with individual characters, which is fun, and they do it in a way that is very Disney-esque and like Pixar animated-esque, which they talk about a lot. And you know, I may be a little bit biased because they invited me down to their studio and I saw behind the magic. But even before that, honestly, that's how I felt, and that's why I voted as #1 when I voted here. I'll be perfectly transparent. Now, Star Atlas is a very close second. They do a great job of doing a lot of really great, like talking about the story and the things going on in the game in a narrative way. But the thing about it is, like, for whatever reason, people, I feel like it doesn't get out there enough. Like, I feel like it's a lot of it's like text and written content, but they don't do a good job of like making video or other type of content around that. And so I would say that yeah, so they're probably #2, and then I'd probably go like Alluvium, Big Shrapnel, Big Time, probably. I think Big Time could do a lot more. Like, you know, I was expecting a little bit more from them for like lore and things based upon the whole, like, you know, time traveling thing, and they haven't done as much on that. Shrapnel's doing a pretty good job of like putting some stuff out, but they're still really early. You know, they're still really early. I mean, those maybe wouldn't be some of my picks for this top 5 here, but
did you see their live action like 7-minute trailer video that they produced?
You talking about Shrapnel?
Yeah.
Shrapnel?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, that thing is hot, man. That's one of the things that got me super hyped about this game is when I saw that, I was like, holy crap, man. Like, they did like over Web2 games. Like, they did such an excellent job. Like, I haven't even seen a Web2 game trailer that got me as hyped as Shrapnel has gotten me, you know, here in last year. So yeah, I definitely agree with that.
And that's
That
the
video
next
was crazy.
That's the next category here. And I mean, these guys, all these games right here have some amazing trailers. They go all out with their trailers. So that's going to be a tough one right there too. We got best action adventure game. Do you guys want to pause on that, or you want to go to best mobile game?
Stache, I gotta defer to you.
Mobile game is interesting. Web3 mobile game is interesting to me. Stache, you want to give us a little feedback on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think, well, the action adventure game, that's a close race, man. Like, they're all like, I'd say, like, for sure, it's just really hard to tell. Like, Superior, Alluvium, Big Time, My Pet Hooligan, they're all good action adventure games, all very different. So that's gonna be a hard race. The mobile game is, I think there's less good competition in mobile, which is kind of crazy, you know. Because mobile games are fair, a little bit easier, we'll say, than creating a PC based, like, full blown type of game. You know, I don't feel like we've seen the most amazing mobile game. Now, out of all these 5 right here, I've played all of them. Well, no, okay. I have not played Skyweaver, but I've seen lots of Skyweaver play,
Mhm.
and I think it's good. As much as I almost hate to say as much as I almost hate to say it, I think Dayton Arena probably takes the win for like best mobile game, because the game, like, as much as they screwed their NFT holders and their tokenomics up like really badly, the game itself is actually fun. It's polished. You can play it. Lots of people played it. Um, I think it's probably what out of these five, probably the top mobile game. Guild of Guardians is a little funky. We talked about this on my Around the Metaverse stream the other day. A little funky there. They want it to be an esports game. I don't know how it really is. Blast Royale is not bad. It's also a pretty good game. You guys know I don't like Axie. I was
Yep.
putting that out there. I am biased.
Yep.
I don't
Noted.
like that.
Yep.
I never liked the game. So even when it was hyped and everyone was like, oh my God, it's the best thing. I was like, this game is just not very good, guys. And because it was all about the earning.
Yeah. It was all about the in-game
focused.
economy. Yep.
Yeah, even the team was focused on that and using that and riding off of that, and then backtrack and said, no, we were never about it. Anyways, but Skyweaver is a very solid game as well. And so, but the thing is, when you talk about like best mobile game, it's a card game. So like, you're going to alienate some people there, because that's just not everyone, it's a, specific genre. Not everybody loves TCGs.
Yep. Well, we're gonna see who's gonna take home the award there with best sports game. We saw a lot of soccer collaborations. We saw there were some football collaborations, but mostly soccer and basketball collaborations that I noticed in 2022. Any feedback on that, guys?
Have you played any of these, Iceyyy?
So I really wanted to play STG football, but it came out like right as I was planning the event. And I have like done so little Web3 gaming over the past 3 months because I've just been working on the event. So I haven't, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked STG football, man. It's fast paced, it's fun, it's easy to pick up with friends. I did like that. Eden Brawl looks pretty cool too. It's like a kind of quasi soccer-ish type of like game mixed with like a MOBA kind of like it's got. I haven't actually been able to play that, but
What's
this was a tougher.
RumbleKongs? What's RumbleKongs?
It's kind of like a basketball game as well.
Oh, it is.
This was a tough category to kind of put together, to be honest. There was
is.
internal debate about like, are there enough sports games? Which
Yeah,
ones?
it was tough. It was tough to like get 5 things that I was like, hey, these are solid sports games.
It really was like a lot of so just a little bit of backstory. A lot of the nominations, it was an open ballot format. So the voting panel just wrote in the nominations for each category. There's a lot of decisions to make. And yeah, I mean, some of these were tougher to pick than others. So these were the top 5 games that got the most nominations. We wanted to include sports because we wanted, again, to recognize the sports games that were out there and were building, and we wanted to give them a platform, but we knew that it was slim pickings with that category.
All right. Well, we'll see on that as well. We have best casual game, best RPG game. I have a feeling you guys want to say something about that. Or best FPS game.
Stache, what do you think the best
stop
first-person
me.
shooter is? What do you think? What do you think about that? Or let me ask you this, Stache. What is your favorite category out of all the award categories?
We have best strategy game.
That's a hard one, man. Like best category, like
What are you looking forward to the most of like who's gonna win that one?
So okay, yeah. I'm an RPG player. I love RPGs. I love MMOs, but the problem with them is that they're just life absolving.
Yeah.
Like they just, your life just gets your. And so I've classically been a big RPG fan. Now I also love FPS games and strategy games. I play everything. I like this. It's hard for me to say, hey, this one category is the one that I love.
Yeah.
But definitely, I mean, I will say I probably play the most is FPS games. Just because it's easier to like jump in, or like MOBA type of games, it's easier to jump in, play a match, and then be done. With like strategy games like Gods Unchained, it's you really have to grind. Splinter Cell is very casual, which is nice and easy to play. But yeah, I probably end up playing FPS games the most.
Who you got for best first-person shooter of 2022 of these 5? Or is your pick not on there? Like,
No, my pick's on there. My pick
Okay.
is on there. My number one is on there. I okay, so I played all of these. I don't know. I really don't know why MetaOps is on there, guys. I played MetaOps. I felt like it was very limited and it was a little clunky, but it's a good start. I think they have a good start. I just don't know that it's on the level. Like even like okay, so my number one pick really honestly is Dead Drop. And what I will say is that even though it is in early access right now and it's still in very, very beginner stage development, what they're doing with that game is already light years ahead of every other game almost on this list. Now, I love metalcore. Listen, because I'm going to tell you, I love metalcore. They have a pretty good game loop. It's already fairly polished, but there are bugs in that game. It is bulky. It is not optimized, and they still need to kind of work out their mode, right? Like their go-to mode, because right now it feels a little bit, it feels a little bit bulky. Undead Blocks is great, but it's a little bit of a repetitive kind of game loop, right? You're killing zombies. Now they have mobile, which is going to be huge for them. Like when you talk about best mobile game, if they had their mobile game out, that would be my pick for best mobile game, because for sure, like everything about Undead Blocks to me screams badass mobile game. And with multiplayer, that kicks it up, and they got some different modes and things that are cool. But yeah, and then EVI, like I said, solid game, love that game. But Dead Drop, I think there's so much there. And I think that the approachability that the game is going to have for mainstream audience is really going to propel it into that next level. And I have a lot of fun playing Dead Drop. I enjoy playing Eevee too. But Dead Drop, like there's just something about it when I get in there, man. Like it feels like a great take on every great FPS game that's out right now. But just slightly, just enough different for it to be interesting. And Eevee doesn't necessarily have that. Eevee feels like a lot of other browser-based shooters that I've played that, they're great, they're fun, boom, you jump in, but there's not really much different about them. Like if you compare Eevee to other browser-based shooters, there's not like, oh my God, they do this one thing so much different, or this thing, here's their unique selling point. There isn't really that big a one there, and there are huge ones for Dead Drop.
Well, we definitely know what Stache likes and don't like. But we got more. We got best strategy game.
I told you, hot takes incoming. We need to bring the hotness today. You guys have me on here. I'm not gonna.
That's why we're happy.
Not gonna beat around the bush, guys. I don't got time for that shit.
No, I love it. I love it.
Yes, that's why we have you.
I'm sure I'll get some shade, but that's okay. Throw it at me.
No, we got
keeping it real.
We got to keep it real. We got best strategy game, best esports game, and we're going to talk about the Metaverse of the year. We have about 10 minutes left, guys. So I'm going to run over the esports because I do want to get your feedback on Metaverse of the year, only because, and Iceyyy and I have talked about this, we are all still wondering, what is the ideal metaverse environment? Who is going to build the ideal metaverse environment? We know that the ideal metaverse environment hasn't yet been created, but we have a good variety of environments. You have the sandbox where you play you're playing in the sandbox. There are NFTs. There's there are challenges presented. You have Decentraland where it's really focused around events and fashion shows and art galleries. And so, I mean, you have these options here, but everybody is bringing something different to the table. But we still don't really have a defined definition of the metaverse. Stache, what are your thoughts on this category? Do we know who the metaverse of the year or what the metaverse of the year is yet?
I feel a hot take coming.
Not super hot takes here. So fair evaluations. Chibi Dinos does not even belong on this list. I don't even know how the hell they got here. That is a crazy, crazy thing to me, but okay.
I agree. This was another category that was very slim.
Yeah.
And the nominations were a little wild. And we were down to the wire and the deadline, and that snuck in there. I agree with Stache. That's an oversight for sure, that if we had more time, would not have happened. But shout out to Chibi Dino. It was a great game. Just not in the Metaverse.
There's other ones that would probably make more sense to be here. The World Wide Web, I think everyone else belongs here. I don't know that World Wide Web 3 game would be maybe my pick here, but Sandbox, Decentraland, and Other Side 100% belong in this category vote. I voted for all three of those. What I will say is that I love what Other Side is working on, what they're building towards, but they don't really have anything yet. So to call them Metaverse of the Year, I think would be a little hasty. And I kind of feel that way with some of the other games too that really don't have anything. Like Shrapnel, I think has an amazing trailer, but they don't have anything else beyond that. So you can't really maybe consider them for an award. I really think it comes down to between the Sandbox and Decentraland. These are two what I would consider true metaverses. A lot of these other games call themselves metaverses, but they're not. They're just open world sandbox type of games. But to me, what defines a metaverse is the ability is a system built to allow people to create within a interoperable system, right? And be able to go from one experience to the other seamlessly, right? And these experiences be ones that are built out by the community. Now, if you use that as a definition, both Decentraland and the Sandbox meet those requirements 100%.
Absolutely.
But I will say is that I give the edge to the Sandbox because they have a more active community that are developing experiences than Decentraland does. There's some great people who have done cool things in Decentraland, but they don't have the same breadth and width that Sandbox does with their partnerships, their IP that they've acquired for licensing, and then like the marketing and promotions that they do. Like this Decentraland just doesn't meet the same the same bar. It can't hit the same bar as a Sandbox. So in my opinion, I think Sandbox is the winner for Metaverse of the Year. They've done some very successful alpha seasons here, and they continue to keep rolling out experiences. They just launched one for Lunar New Year. They're doing these cool little micro experiences all along the way, and like I said, they just don't have as much, they don't have as much push.
Not to mention Animoca that backs the Sandbox and the collaborations that they continue to put out on a weekly, monthly basis. I think when you look at the ideal metaverse environment, you have to ask yourself, who's going to create the environment where people want to spend hours and hours and hours on that platform, right? So it goes beyond gamification. It goes, as far as creating these customizable experiences and the interoperability of being able to hop, like you said, from one environment to another environment. And again, bringing all of those collaborations into whether it's commerce or whether it's entertainment. You just have to create an environment where it's people play games, but they socialize and they share and they customize and they trade. And so all of those things have to come together to create that ideal environment. And I think it's still nascent and I think it's still early, but I'm absolutely with you, Stache. I think Sandbox is well on its way. So all eyes on Sandbox and Decentraland. We have gaming.
I see that look there because I know Icey's a big Decentraland fan. And that's like I know you are. I mean, I know that's what you stream. You're streaming.
I am too. I love Decentraland, but again, for events, yes, Decentraland all day. Art, yes, all day. Games, there's no games in there. There's just
there's games. There's definitely
some games,
some.
Some. I'm gonna say Sandbox as well. So
I agree with everything that you guys said. I do think that I agree with Stache. The battle is between Decentraland and Sandbox, and the whole point of the award show is to say, hey, here's who did it best in 2022, and to set the stage for like, all right, 2023 next year, like bring your A game. If you want that spot, you got to go for it. So
absolutely,
we'll see how the battle continues to evolve.
Absolutely. And two more, I want to quickly cover these two. Gaming blockchain of the year. I think that's really, really important. We have organization of the year, but studio of the year presented by NFT is also very important. For gaming blockchain of the year, what say you? We got Polygon, we get Immutable X, we get Solana, Ethereum, and Avalanche. Let me hear your feedback quickly on that.
Let's go, Solana!
This guy.
Oh,
Is that your pick? Are you a soul boy?
I like Solana actually,
Soul
but
to the moon.
that's not the blockchain gaming of the year.
No.
You know, it's not. It's not
Solana
the
needs some infrastructure work to do, but we digress.
Well, you know,
Um,
and it sucks. You know, they went about things a little bit different, and they garnered a lot of steam. You know, they really were, you know, pushing things, and you know, with all this FTX stuff, it really put a hole in their boat. You know,
mhm. Yes,
and
it
so
sure
we've
did.
seen projects leaving Solana, major projects, and you know, because they just feel like, I guess they're, you know, the chain is dead. Solana's not going to die. You know, when in comparison to chains that have had massive, you know, like really even Solana didn't have, like, yeah, they had some issues with the tech side of things like that, but really in comparison to like some other ones, like, guys, Ethereum Classic is still around as a blockchain. Luna is still around as a blockchain.
Yeah.
And these are, I mean, it's
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
really? So
Yeah.
Solana is still going to make it, but they won't be blockchain of the year.
Yep.
I think
Blockchains
I
are
think
like Goonies; they never die.
yeah. I think that that nod, in my opinion, it's really
Yep.
hard between Polygon and Immutable.
Mhm.
Like those are the top two. It's hard for me to
I'm
pick,
gonna
man,
go
'cause
Polygon. I'm all
they both do a
Polygon.
really great job. I would probably give the edge and advantage to Polygon, but man,
Yeah.
Immutable X has a little bit better technology, in my opinion. Polygon's working on catching up to them. Avalanche, out of all of these, has probably the best technology, period, but they just don't have the depth that
Yeah.
Immutable and Polygon have.
I
All
agree with
right.
Stache there. I think it's kind of similar to Sandbox and Decentraland. It's like a 1 and 2 race between Polygon and Immutable,
Yeah.
and it's a really, really close race. I do got to shout out to Immutable. They came on as a sponsor of the event, official partner of the Gamers Choice Awards. So thank you so much to Immutable. We're
Yeah, they're
honored to
great.
have you. And but there are other, you know, great chains that are building. Avalanche and Solana are good examples of, you know, contenders that are coming up in the space.
All right. All right. Last but not least, Studio of the Year. I'm sorry. I'm going to go with Gala Games on that one, but let me hear what you have to say.
Crypto Stache.
You know,
Look at
Uh-oh.
this is a tough
these
one
are
too, guys.
all like all these studios have done really well. I got it, but I do have to give the advantage to Gala. You know, as a studio, they have really, you know, been pushing the forefront of what it means to be a Web3 focused studio and publisher of games. All these other organizations are just working on one game. And so, you know, Gala has really taken on an ambitious role here. And I think that, you know, they deserve those accolades.
Absolutely.
Have they made mistakes? So has everyone else on this list.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
that's what
crypto.
Web3, we iterate, man.
And they've take on a huge, like they're not just you know, tackling one thing. I mean, they're doing film and games and music and
Launch their own
voxel
blockchain
and
too. Yeah, they have their
and
own
blockchain, their own
I mean,
blockchain.
there's so much. Yeah, there's so much going on.
Yeah, they have a lot going on. All eyes on Gala there. But I mean, these are all some great contenders, some great categories, great people. We are just so excited to be there in 4 days. Guys, you don't want to miss this first ever Web3 gaming event. By the way, Iceyyy, can people still register or is it closed?
Yeah, no. So we've got 150 tickets claimed, and that was
Mhm.
our goal.
Okay.
And again, you mentioned Gala Games. They're going to be there in attendance. Mythical Games is coming. Blankos, Illuvium, Star Atlas, Metalcore. A lot of these top games. I'm going to be missing some. So I'm really excited because it's going to be, you know, the like such a densely packed collection of all the movers and shakers in Web3 gaming. So it's going to be a really, really fun evening and event. But
Oh
yeah,
my gosh, I'm
tickets are
excited.
still available on Eventbrite.
Yeah.
It's, you know, we've really taken the more the merrier kind of approach. The venue is big enough to support. We could go up to like 250 and still have
Okay.
a little bit of room to, you know, be comfortable and everything like that. But we wanted enough people so that there was that energy and atmosphere, but we didn't want to go like, you know, too big. We wanted to keep it that intimate kind of invite only feel. So
I
there
love
are
it.
tickets. If someone wants to come, you know, you can apply for a complimentary invite, or you could, you know, buy a ticket outright.
Well, definitely going to have the who's who of Web3 gaming there. The event will be streamed worldwide, correct? You
Yeah,
can tune
YouTube and
in
Twitch.
on web3gamer.com. That's web3gamer.com. This is going to be an exciting night. You honestly don't want to miss this. So either come and show up to Miami in 4 days or just tune in online. Anything else you gentlemen want to add that we forgot or we want to highlight?
I will just add that for anyone that tunes into the live stream, you will have an opportunity to enter our giveaway that we're doing. We've been advertising a $1,000 giveaway, but actually it's going to be $1,400. We're probably going to pick 14 winners and give away $100 each. So all you have to do is tune into the live stream. We're going to give a private code that you just like enter into the chat and our Discord. So you got to go to the live stream, get the code, join our Discord, post that code in the Discord and you'll get access to the giveaway. Tune in. It's going to be an exciting night. Stache will be there on stage. Mona is going to be there. And I can't wait to see all these winners. I will say it's going to be, there might be some, controversial picks with like the winners and upsets and all that stuff. As the organizer, I feel like I have like empathy now for like the Grammys when someone doesn't win and everyone's upset. I'm like, oh no, what if I set myself
Stache
up
is
for?
bringing the boxing gloves just in case anybody
Oh
wants to
no,
settle the disagreements.
True. I gotta go get them. And you know what? I'm telling everybody right now a little secret that I was not going to reveal, but now that you asked, everybody in attendance is going to get from me a free mustache ride.
Hey,
No!
let's go. I love that. That's what I'm here for.
That is amazing.
We're gonna have fun. We're gonna
have fun. Iceyyy, Stache, this is not going to be the last time. We're going to do more of these. Like I said before, I want to hit some metaverse topics with you guys, but this was just going to be about the event. I want to thank you both for participating in the show today. It was so great to have you both on the show.
Thank you so much, Mona.
Anytime.
Of course, I'm excited to see you both and you, the gaming community at the event on January 31st in Miami. Again, that's going to be in 4 days. Thank you, the viewers at home, for joining us on the latest episode of MetaverseXpress Full Stop. I'm your host, Mona. Until next time.